How is everyone? Good to see you. Sorry, I had to change my settings a little bit on my computer. My camera wasn't working for a minute. Looks like people are still logging on. Okay, well, welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. I think we're doing this a little earlier than we normally do, so thanks for your patience as we change these around sometimes to accommodate more people. We're trying to do our best to hold these on different days of the week and different times, so that way people who can't always attend on the same day at the same time every month can still make some of them. And as always, we do record these and put them on the intranet, so if for any reason you can't be here, you can always watch it later. We actually don't have a ton of updates today, so unless you all have a bunch of questions, this might be a short town hall. I'm going to open my chat so I see those questions as they come through. Feel free to just post them in the chat if you have any that you want to discuss today, and we'll get through the items that I have on the agenda, and then we'll go through the questions that have come through the intranet, and then go through any that come through the chat. So I just wanted to first start off by just once again reiterating something that you've heard me say over and over to the point where you're probably tired of hearing it. But talking about the purpose of our consolidation, and the reason I bring that up is because we had an interaction at a legislative committee hearing last week that really emphasized to me what people are looking for and looking at when they're looking at government operations and looking at our consolidation. So I have mentioned this in the past, but the purpose behind not only our consolidation, but the others that have also been done, DHHS is another example. The purpose of that from the governor's perspective and the legislature's perspective was to break down silos, especially between agencies that provided services to the same customer base, and to improve collaboration, but all with this ultimate goal of improving customer service and providing better service to those that are our customers. And I think that we've done a great job with that. And of course, our consolidation will continue to take time and we'll continue to move forward. But it was interesting to me last week, I presented to the Legislative Audit Committee, and on that committee, President Adams and Speaker Wilson are the chairs of that committee. And as we went through some of the things, Speaker Wilson toward the end talked a little bit about really government operations as a whole, and he was comparing it to his private business, and he recognized, and I do as well, that a comparison between government and private sector isn't always really an apples to apples comparison. But what he said was, in his private business, he often brings on contractors to help with certain aspects of his business, and if for whatever reason that service provider isn't meeting the needs of his business, then he can let them go and find a new service provider. And he's pointed out that in government, we do things differently, and that's not the case. That for the most part, with few exceptions, the state agencies are obligated to use the services that we provide. If they don't like something that we're doing, they can't just decide to go with another vendor. They're forced to use us. And he mentioned that he was a little uncertain with that structure, and his concern was that it didn't create the best environment where customer service was a high priority for the service provider in those areas. And I would just say I would love for our department to prove him wrong, that customer service is something that we are focused on. And while yes, agencies do have to use us, that we are constantly trying to understand how our customers are feeling and what they need from us, and adapting and moving and addressing those concerns as they come up. One of the things he did mention in that hearing is that he felt it was important for us to be gathering data on how our customers view our services and how well they view our customer service. And so we're going to take him up on that challenge and move forward with that. Scott Tingley, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Scott Tingley, who's our new audit director. Scott, you can wave your hand or say hi. Maybe that will bring you up on people's screen. I introduced him last month. Go ahead, Scott.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, we can't hear you. At least I can't hear you.
Am I still muted?
Anyway, can anyone else hear him?
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
Oh, other people can hear. I don't know why I can't.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's me. Just my speakers. Anyway, Scott's going to help us with that effort. That's one of the things that as the auditor's office, they'll be looking at performance measures and performance improvements, and they're going to help us in this effort and understanding how our customers feel about our services, and then making recommendations on areas for improvement. So we're going to take Speaker Wilson's challenge, and we're going to do that moving forward. I know in some of our teams or our divisions, we already do that. But again, going back to our consolidation, I recognize that there has been a lot of change over the last 19 months or so with a new administration and new leadership, and of course the consolidation, not just of our agency, but other agencies. But my commitment to you and to our customers is, as we look at change and as we look at different ways of doing things or different structures within our organization, we're continually asking ourselves, what is the benefit to our customer, or what is the best way of doing this with our customer in mind? That doesn't mean that we can forget or ignore the needs of our agency, and we need to always keep that at the forefront as well. But we are looking at through that lens of how can we improve our services. That was the purpose of our consolidation. That's the intent. That's the desire of the governor and the legislature. And I thank you, and just want to say how much I appreciate that. In my interactions with so many of you, I see that over and over again too, is this desire to help meet the needs of the agencies that we serve. So when you see some changes coming from customer service surveys, that's where that's coming from, is that challenge from Speaker Wilson. But we're excited to take on that challenge and to do more to gather data that we can then use to build our strategic plans and create our goals for each year. The second thing I just want to acknowledge is, as I have been meeting with other agencies, I have heard over and over again how much they appreciate the services that they receive from GovOps. As I mentioned, there have been a tremendous amount of change over the last little while with the initiatives that the Cox-Henderson administration has. And these have left big challenges for some of our customer agencies. And I'm going to keep pointing at DHHS because I think that's probably now the biggest agency in the state.
I can't hear her again.
The biggest changes. Sorry, if you don't have your phones or your computer muted, if you can do so, thank you. And over and over, I've heard from those leaders how grateful they are for the help that they've received from the various teams within GovOps, that we've been responsive, we've taken on additional work or projects, helping their teams through these consolidations or some of these huge initiatives, how professional our teams have been, and how these efforts have been successful because of the partnership that they've had with us. So I wanted to make sure that you were hearing that, and I was relaying that information to you because it's been great to hear that from so many of the agencies that we serve, and the kudos goes to all of you and for the day-to-day work that you do there. And then the last thing that I had on my list is just some information on rates. And I'm not sure if Jake Hennessy's on the call or not today, but we are in the process of putting together our rates for fiscal year 2024. So those are specific to our internal service funds within GovOps. We have 6 internal service funds, and those are our divisions that, instead of receiving an appropriation from the legislature, we create rates that we then bill to other agencies to pay for the services that we're providing. And it's interesting that we have to create these rates really a year in advance. So the rates that we are proposing to the rate committee next month are the rates that we anticipate for fiscal year 2024. So we're really trying to project and guess what our costs are going to be in the next fiscal year, assess those rates so then agencies can build them into their budgets as they are working on their budgets for the upcoming fiscal year. So Jake Hennessy, who is our finance director for GovOps, is overseeing that effort. Our first rate committee hearing is on September 15th. It is an open and public meeting, so you're welcome to watch either virtually or attend in person if you would like. The rate committee is made up of other agency leaders who will hear the rates that we're proposing for that fiscal year. They have an opportunity to ask questions, and ultimately they vote on whether or not to approve those rates. If they're approved, then they go into the bill with other fees and such for the in the next legislative session, and then would go into effect in fiscal year 24. One of the things that we have directed all of our ISFs is that we will seek increases in our rates to cover increases in salaries and in benefits. So in the past, there were times where for many years, some of our ISFs would absorb COLAs that were approved by the legislature or absorb increases in benefits. And they did that in order to not increase rates. But of course, the problem with that is the more that we're absorbing and not seeking more funding to cover those increases, then it hurts us in other areas, whether our ability to give ASIs, whether it is to get the hardware or software or other services that we need in order to provide this.
Do I need OneDrive for anything?
Oh, sorry, MDuff, and if you can mute. Anyway, so we're not going to absorb those anymore. We're going to ask for those increases in our rates because it's a mandate from the legislature that we institute those COLAs and those benefit increases, and we need to make sure that our rates are accurately capturing those, so that way we're not creating a financial struggle or a bad financial situation on our end. I believe the majority of our rate increases this year are going to be related to those salary and benefit increases. There's nothing big. Last year, we had some pretty significant rate increases that we're not seeing those this year, other than to just cover those increases in salaries and benefits. And we will do that year over year in order to make sure that we're capturing those increases and not putting ourselves into a financial difficulties. Again, so you're welcome to watch those. We're happy to share the rate information with anyone who's interested once that rate packet is done as well. Those were really the only three things I had on my list. Last town hall, I gave you an update on what we're focused on for Q1 of this year. I don't have any significant updates on those. I know everyone's hard at work on moving forward with those major programs. I emailed them out as well, and we'll probably have some more of an update for you next month. So I do just want to quickly go through the questions that have come through the intranet, and then we'll go through any questions that have come through the chat, which I'm not seeing any yet. So if you have any, please post them there. The first one said, where is the FAQ document for the telework policy? Jenny said one would be compiled and posted. It is not on the intranet yet, and I take full responsibility for that. That lies on me. I did have Melissa pull together all of the questions that have come through on the telework policy and share them with me and with others so we could get those answers drafted and put on the intranet, and I have failed to finish that. So I apologize for that. I have blocked time off on my calendar to make sure that I get that done next week. So we will make sure that gets posted to the intranet next week. And again, that's on me. I apologize that delay is waiting for me, but we'll get on that. The next question, Cass Hart, if you're on, I think you're prepared to answer this one. But the next one asked if we track division employee turnover. They mentioned some divisions have higher rates of turnover than others, and they were interested in knowing who's tracking it and asking why, and then making recommendations on actions that we can take to address any retention issues that we see. So Cass, are you on the phone?
I'm here.
Okay, do you want to answer that question?
Absolutely. Now your frog has come to me. And I apologize, my internet's been super sketchy during this, so sorry if I go robotic on you. So yes, we do track turnover. We have some dashboards that we use that's available to our agency leadership. And so if we look at that, we can see that the state's core workforce. So let me talk about core workforce. Core workforce is anything that isn't a temporary position. So it's not our seasonals, it's not someone we hire, in a temporary position or something like that, but all of our regular workforce. So the turnover for the state for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2022 was 17.65%. And that sounds pretty high. Then when we drill that down and we just look at the Department of Government Operations, our turnover for quarter four of fiscal year 2022 was 11.45%. So we're doing better than the state's average, which sounds great, but it also still, we understand that turnover is difficult and, causes, pressure on everybody involved. So definitely divisions within DevOps that have higher turnover rates than others, and then even within divisions we'll have little pockets that are a lot higher than others. I don't have those exact rates for you this time, but certainly I can get on those, so maybe I can give you an update at our next town hall. I'd be surprised to see anything that exceeds 20%. I know one of the highest turnover rates I've seen was in some specific job titles for about 18%. So obviously our leaders and our division leaders are really concerned and want to find ways to address retaining them. So what have we done? So I just brainstormed a few examples, and this is, some of the things that happen. In DHRM, we frequently use something called a career mobility. So it gives employees a chance to kind of try out another job. Maybe they move from a technician in the ERIC to an HR analyst out in a field office. It essentially gives them on-the-job training. So they're interested in staying with us, and we're developing them. And then, if they've done these career mobilities, they become really good candidates for those openings in the future. I know in the Division of Finance, fairly recently, Jenica worked with my team member, Rebecca Leiser, and they created a new job series for the state accountants. So it's a really important position to the state's finances overall. And they needed a little bit of a career path for employees. And so they developed that so they give their more senior employees an opportunity to rise up, to have another position available. In DTS, we all know that the tech industry moves really fast and things are changing really, really quickly all the time. And employees need the time to train up and skill up and stay current with the skills that they need. So DTS has held training challenges where they challenge people to go do training. And they've also given employees the freedom to use some of their work time to participate in training each year, so that not only does it help them skill up and move up, but it also helps keep them current in their positions. And within the last couple of years, we've also worked with DFCM. We did a complete revamp of all of the maintenance positions and created some career paths, and we updated some of the salary ranges. So those are a lot of initiatives that I'm aware of. And I'm sure that there are things that our division leaders are doing on top of that, that is really kind of behind the scenes and we don't even recognize it. So yes, we're aware. Yes, we partner with agency leadership frequently to work on those things.
Thank you, Cass. So there were a couple of questions that came through for you. The first one was, are retirements captured in the turnover rate?
Yes.
And then the second one is if you do exit interviews to find out why employees are leaving.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Cass.
You bet.
The next question that came through said that someone said they received information from their supervisor that the new GovOps teleworking policy said that employees that can telework are only eligible to telework 80% of the time, and they couldn't see that in the policy. So I just want to reiterate, in the telework policy, we do not have a policy limiting how much time an employee can telework, because it would be impossible for us to create a one-size-fits-all approach for our department of our size. So instead, what we've done is we've asked for each team, each supervisor, to work with their direct reports to develop or respond to that telework agreement, where you work with your teams to identify who needs to be in the office and when, or who can telework and when. And that is an agreement that happens between you and your supervisor. So there's not a policy that we have as a department that has to be limited to a certain amount. It's worked on at the team level. So if you have questions about your telework agreement, please reach out to your supervisor. And if you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to Cass as our HR director for our department if there are any concerns related to your telework agreement. And then the last one that came through the intranet, which is also in the chat, is, can we get an update on the status of the gym at TSOB? So I'm hearing it's going to be open on Monday, but I think Brianne's on the call and can give us some more information. Brianne, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. So we did a final walkthrough yesterday. There's one or two things, like as far as cleaning and organization, that we need to do, but it is ready to go. It's operational. There's a few things that we plan on adding later, such as gym equipment. We did have to remove some of the old American Express because it was old, it was unsafe. So we will be adding to it. It's not the complete facility, but we don't see any reason in withholding that benefit. So yeah, Monday we will be taking applications, and I will be sending out an instruction on how to submit that, and then we'll be able to start providing access and people will be able to use the gym.
Thank you, Brianne, and a huge thanks to Brianne and the other people on this committee. This has been a lot more work than I think anyone anticipated, and she's really done a fantastic job leading this effort and making sure the equipment is safe and that the facility is ready to use. Brianne, can you remind people where the gym is located?
Yes, so it is on the second floor by the agricultural portion. So you're going to have to go through the annex, and then it's just to the left. I'm going to try and be on site as much as possible. So if anybody wants to just be shown where it is, I'm happy to do that as well.
Okay, thank you. So watch for that application information from Brianne. The other thing, this came from a suggestion from an employee, and we talked about it and have agreed it makes sense. So at least for the foreseeable future, we will not be charging employees to use that gym. In the past, I think and I am a newer state employee, so I was never at the state office building on the Capitol, but I believe there was an annual fee that was used to help with the maintenance and such. But at this point, we believe that we can cover that through the O&M that we are collecting for the TSOB, so it will be available to employees at no cost. Anything else? Any other questions related to the gym? I was hoping to see lots of like silent cheers. Let's see. Someone asked if your assigned building is not the TSOB, but we live close, can we be a member and gain access? It's my understanding that that is something, yes, that we are shooting for. It's a state building regardless of which agencies are located here. And so we do want to make it accessible to state employees. So the answer to that would be yes, just look for that application. Someone said, okay, is the intranet available outside the state network? Melissa just posted the link to the intranet. You do have to, maybe Bree can answer this if she's on the phone. I think you have to log in to the Utah ID first. So it is behind the multi-factor authentication. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But we can check on that if not. Let's see. Okay, yes, you do have to log in order to get into the intranet. So logging in through your Utah ID. You don't have to be on the VPN, but you do have to log in behind the. Oh, will the gym be open 24/7, Brianne? Do you know the hours?
Oh, how cute are they?
Unfortunately, the gym will not be open 24/7, and that's due to security purposes at this time. It will only be open from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. As the security on that side of the building increases, those hours may change, but for now, those are the hours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, those are all the questions that came through the intranet, and that I don't think I missed any questions that have come through the chat. Anything else that we can answer for you? Or questions that you've been waiting on me to respond to if I've missed anything? Is there an exercise policy? I don't believe so, but Brianne, that might be for you as well.
I mean, there is like a code of conduct agreement that you have to sign in order to submit that application, but that's really about the only policy.
Okay.
And you might be able to speak to more.
Jake, were you looking for something more than that?
I'm just going to unmute. Yeah, I was looking to see if there was like a release form. You know, I know other agencies allow you 30 minutes, 3 days a week type of thing. That's what I was looking for.
Oh,
Cass,
Do
looks like
we
you know
as
the
an
answer.
agency allow that?
There is a policy for DevOps for exercise and health activity release time. And if you are interested in making an agreement with your supervisor, then there is a AAA in UPM that your supervisor can, hey, thanks for dropping that in there, Sean and Joseph. So a link to policies in the chat now. And so you can go ahead and sign that agreement with your supervisor. And so it's for exercise or some kind of health activity. So if you are maybe going to go to a Healthy Utah session or something like that, then you could also use that release time for those types of health activities.
Thank you, Cass. George asks if there's going to be a ribbon cutting for the gym with a YMCA sing-along dance-off. I don't think there's a ribbon cutting, but I think that's an excellent idea, and I think, George, you should lead it.
Jenny, I just wanted to say, I walked in with George this morning and he told me he was going to volunteer for that.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Oh, lots of people are happy about this, George. If I can't be there, somebody needs to record this for me or live stream it or something. Put it on the intranet. Any other questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So I just, once again, John, I'm with you. I would as well. Just once again, if you have any questions, please send them through the intranet. I always look through those the day before so that way I make sure I don't miss them. And if you have any specific topics that you would like us to talk about in a town hall, please feel free to email me and let me know. We try to keep everybody informed and updated through this this town hall session. But if there are specific things that you're looking for that you feel like we're missing, then please feel free to email me, and I'd love to create an agenda, making sure that we're addressing the things that you care about and that you want to know about. But that's, I think, all of the updates that we have for now. So I appreciate your time, and we'll let you get back to it. Happy Thursday and enjoy your weekend. Thanks, everyone.